Millennials think they understand Gen Z. They were young once too, right? Wrong. The gap between millennials and Gen Z is actually bigger than the gap between millennials and their parents. These aren't opinions. This is generational psychology. Ready? Let's go. Number 1. Gen Z thinks therapy should be free and accessible. Millennials got therapy. They paid for it. They went to a therapist once a week for $50 to $200. They felt lucky to afford it. Gen Z? Gen Z thinks therapy should be free. Accessible. No shame. Available to everyone. This makes millennials confused. They say, therapy costs money? That's just how it is. But here's what millennials don't understand. Gen Z grew up talking openly about mental health on social media. They saw therapy normalized. They know that mental health is as important as physical health, and they think if physical health can be free in some countries, why not mental health? Thing number 2, Gen Z thinks ghosting is sometimes okay. Millennials invented texting. They invented online dating. But they still believe in communication. Even if it's awkward, you tell someone you're not interested. Gen Z grew up in a world where you have 50 conversations happening simultaneously. Snap streaks, Instagram, DMs, text, threads, Discord, servers. You're juggling dozens of people at once. So Gen Z developed a different rule. If the connection isn't real or deep, ghosting is acceptable. You fade out. No explanation needed. Millennials find this shocking. They say, just send a text, it takes 5 seconds. But Gen Z says, why should I owe someone an explanation if we barely know each other? We matched on an app. That's not a real connection. It's not that Gen Z is rude. It's that Gen Z operates in a world with infinite connections and infinite friction. They're filtering based on what's real versus what's just digital noise. Thing number 3, Gen Z thinks influencers are more credible than experts. Millennials trust doctors, lawyers, teachers. Credentials matter. Gen Z trusts the girl on TikTok who has 5 million followers and posts about her life every day. Millennials are baffled. They ask, but she's not an expert. She doesn't have credentials. Gen Z responds, she's being real. She's vulnerable. She's sharing her actual experience. That's more authentic than someone in a lab coat pretending to be perfect. This isn't stupidity. This is a shift in what authenticity means. Gen Z lived their entire lives seeing celebrities and influencers live real lives on social media. They saw the behind the scenes. They learned that real experience beats perfect credentials. An influencer who admits her struggles, that's more trustworthy to Gen Z than a traditional expert who presents a polished image. Thing number 4, Gen Z thinks commitment is a choice, not an obligation. Millennials, they stayed in jobs for 5 years. They made long-term plans and stuck to them because that was the deal. Gen Z thinks differently. If a relationship doesn't serve you, leave. If a job doesn't align with your values, quit. Millennials see this as commitment issues. Gen Z sees it as healthy boundaries. A millennial will stay in a bad relationship because breaking up feels like failure. Gen Z will leave after 3 months because they refuse to waste time on something that doesn't feel right. Millennials value loyalty. Gen Z values alignment. Those are fundamentally different operating systems. Here's the truth. These 4 differences aren't good or bad. They're just different. Gen Z isn't broken. Gen Z isn't disrespectful. Gen Z is just operating from a completely different framework. You can't judge Gen Z through a millennial lens any more than you can judge millennials through a boomer lens. The gap exists. It's real. But understanding it, that's where the magic happens. If you're a millennial watching this, your Gen Z siblings or kids aren't weird. They're just from a different generation with different rules. If you're Gen Z watching this, your millennial cousins aren't outdated. They're just from a time when things worked differently. Understanding the why behind the differences, that's how we actually connect across generations. Drop a comment. Which one of these surprised you the most? Send this to a millennial who's confused about Gen Z. They might finally get it.